All right. I hear stories, you're born a leader. How do you become a leader? So let's just address some of the myths. Now, in the reading you do on the leading mind, a lot of these you're going to see there is no such thing a leader is. They're so different in how dynamic or who they are and what they do. And many times a leader is really directly related to that opportunity, and something happens and you have the opportunity to become a leader. So let's look at some of the myths. Leadership's a rare skill. Take a good look at your organization. Now, when you think of leadership, most of you think of the head of an organization. That has nothing to do with my authority and my position and leadership. The ideal is the head of your organization, your chief, your CEO, whatever it may be, is a leader, but not necessarily. There's leaders throughout your organization at many levels. We go to them, we ask for advice. They may have been there the longest, they may know where all the skeletons. They come from many different avenues. They're throughout an organization. The next myth, we're basically born, not made. It's like character, everything. The more we do, the more we learn, the more we have a chance. I want you to think, if any of you ever played sport, and you practice, but never played, never had the opportunity, how are you when they put you there? So it's created, these are skills we create. Now, get me wrong. There's an art and a science to this. I can teach you and teach you and teach you, and you may have all the skills in the world, but a lot of it because you've had experience and you had chance and you developed the art part of it, we'll say. All leaders are charismatic. It's not true. They come from all different avenues. We kind of have this vision of this stereotype. There is no stereotype in what is a leader. Leadership only exists at the top. We talked about that. They're throughout the organization. Now, here's the evil myth. Leadership, control, direct, manipulate. We're going to talk about the ethical leader as we go along. No, they work with you, they mentor you, they help you, and they're willing to help you move along and become successful. So leadership, to summarize, is everywhere. It's you. That's why you're here. All right, the ethical leader, that's what we're talking about. The theme ethics is critical to me because a person with high moral value and character, consistent over time, is one of the important traits, as we talked about, of the leader. So why be an ethical leader? I know you look around, you've seen them, people who treat people off, walk all over them, treat them with disrespect, and they become the chief or become the captain and work their way up. So why even bother? And so this is where we're going to help you understand over the long time it's critical. So I want you to think about leadership. And we're going to look at some of the major models of leadership over time. But just take a moment and think. Let's look at leaders. Now, leaders, you and your family, was Hitler a leader? If you just say leadership is about having followers, Churchill, was he a leader? Gandhi, a leader. I mean, all the different people, Margaret Thatcher, a leader. So the thing is, leadership isn't just about following. There's far more to the leadership role. So let's look at, over time, the major models of leadership. Command model. Now, command model, now most of you think of military, and that's what I have up here is command, because they seem to go together. But some of their very best leadership training is in the military, and it's not the command model. It's about team building and working together. Now, the model I'm talking about, command, you do what you say because if you don't, you pay a price. Command has the power to direct you to where they want you to go. They lead by fear. Look around an organization. Today, it's almost impossible to lead by fear because in reality, you don't have the power, nor should you have the power. Let's move along as our leader. Let's look at the parental model. Now, it seems softer, but there's a problem here I'll explain. This model is different from command in that they believe they know what's best for you and direct you where you should go, where you need to go. They lead because they know what's best for you. A good story, an example of this, and if you look at history, is Benjamin Franklin and DuPont. DuPont was an aristocrat. At the time of the Revolutionary War, in their correspondence, and most of this was correspondence at the time, DuPont said, we need to develop a society of the aristocratic elite to lead the people. And Benjamin Franklin, or maybe it was Thomas Jefferson, I don't remember for sure, said back to him in a letter, You and I see them as children. You see them as infants that don't have the ability to do and achieve and lead. I see them as young adults that will make mistakes, but they'll learn and they'll grow. It is disrespectful to say, I know what's best for you, without breeding you and involving you when it comes to you as the point of a leader and a follower. Now, how many know who Machiavelli is? Machiavelli wrote a great book, The Prince. Highly recommend it. But the term Machiavellian goes directly with that manipulating, controlling leader. Now, when I call it contingency leadership, meaning I will do whatever I need to do to get the job done. Look around you, they're there. In fact, I'm going to say it's the most common leader today that many of you face. They will be your friend when they have to. They will use you. Now, we would like to say in the end they would get theirs. Doesn't happen. They move their way up, but there's a problem for them. And the problem is they can't lead for the long term. And you see that. So a chief comes in, somebody comes in, they do what they need to do, they burn their bridges, but over time, there can only so many times I can manipulate you, which we're going to go to the next one on leadership. And that is really principle-based, the ethical leader. And that's what we're talking about. It has all the strengths, and yet it treats people like human beings with respect and dignity. It's also participatory leadership. Now, don't be confused. Participatory leadership is not a vote. You are the leader. So let's look at what we're talking about. This is a philosophy of manager. It's about character. It's about having a vision. It's about people and trust. It's working with people to go somewhere. It's valued center. It leads others through communication, the vision. Now, the secret of vision, it's like community policing. Don't be offended. In many ways, in many organizations, community policing is worthless because it is not community policing. We say we are. Community policing is about a vision I create, and a way of doing business involving that you buy in, and together we go there. It can't be done by an order, and that's exactly the role of that manager. The principle-based leadership involves people, participatory management, when we can, and that's the key. You know, it's not about we vote, but when it affects you and I can't, I involve you. It's respect. It shows dignity. You know, so it's about you, the follower, working together. So let's take a look. Well, let me back up. So we just walked through the different steps of the leader. I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about where we've been.